I'm a professional handler and the marketing and communications manager here at the Dog House Resort and Spa and all things Dogs College.
I'm Heather Blakeman. I'm a certified professional dog trainer and a professional handler and faculty member here at All Things Dogs College.
I'm Angie Cook. I'm a professional handler. I manage the Spa for Dogs in Sellersburg, and I'm also a faculty member of All Things Dogs College.
And hi, I'm Stephanie Henschel. I'm a professional handler and I own a boarding kennel and a grooming shop and a faculty member of All Things Dogs College.
So, in the meantime, so we also have a Facebook group called So You Want to Show Dogs. It's been such a fun adventure over the last 2 weeks it's been. We have over 17,000 members from 100 different countries. There's been so much positive commentary back and forth and like great ideas and feedback, people learning new tips and tricks, and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of things for people to learn on the page. It's been enjoyable.
And we started the Dog College, as we talked about. This was really Jody's brainchild to bring together all of these incredibly talented professional handlers, groomers, professional trainers. So during this time that we've not been able to get out and enjoy our dog showing activities, we thought it would be a great opportunity to sharpen our skills and bring up new talent too, if possible.
Okay, so a couple things about our videos on the college.
Yes, we have several course options, and in addition to that, we have grouped these course options so that you can get each of the authors' whole works together for perhaps a better price as a bundle, and several options for training, grooming, handling, and every week we've gotten, I think, a new breed. So
Or individual courses for people who
Yes.
need a budget at the time.
absolutely. So individual courses can be purchased too.
So one of the other things with our courses, like we said, we've had the top breeders and handlers helping us do our courses. We've got new ones being posted every day. We've got new faculty members coming up that we can't wait to announce over the next week or so. And many of our courses, depending on the breed, for example, the wire-haired breeds, like the terriers and the wire-haired dachshunds, those courses are done by Leonardo Garcini and Angela Lloyd. We have, to be different and to really show you how to learn, we're filming those courses over 4 weeks up to 10 weeks. You know, it's hard to learn just in one course how to groom your terrier. It's almost impossible, especially if you're new and you're trying to learn from the start. This way you can see how the hair grows in week to week, you know, what hair to pull every week that's most important. So we're glad to have an opportunity to show a little different example than some of the other seminars that are being offered.
So we have some people who are having a hard time hearing with the echo. I think we should probably move to the next room over and continue from
So we're
there.
all set now, and we're going to go do some grooming tips and tricks.
All right, so we're headed right into the grooming room to get ready for some grooming tips, tricks, some of our products.
All right, so we'll start with, Chelsea, can you please get Chase, the Fox Terrier, and put him on the back table? Angie. All right, so we have, if you can come over here, we have a little toy poodle here with us today that she looks like she's in a kind of awful baby haircut, but there has been a lot of talk on the Facebook group pages and different pages where people are just shaving their dogs down and calling it a day. Like they don't feel that the shows are going to start back soon enough, and everyone's frustrated. So what we want to show people is that by trimming down all the body coat really, really tight, you're exposing all the good healthy hair. As well, your job isn't going to take as long for your weekly baths. This way you can focus on the coat that you really want to grow and get in prime condition, and let this hair just grow in kind of naturally and trim it up every week. It cuts your bathing and drying time in half, and it doesn't make you feel that you just have to throw in the towel and shave them down. Another good tip on poodles, and today we didn't have a great example of an older poodle to do this on, but every week I like to tell people with their poodles to, after they do their banding, to just trim off this top half an inch of the coat, and then put a little bit of, I'm sorry, I'm kind of failed on this. Alright, so we have this conditioner. What I like to do every week is just take this top portion of hair after I do my maintenance bath or brush and band them out, and just cut off about this much. The split ends are all gone, and we're maintaining a healthy coat. Put a little bit of conditioner, or a lot of conditioner. Put a little bit of conditioner just onto the tips, and now we have fresh, healthy hair to work with. So next week when we do our brush out, those tips aren't just going to continue to split. Just rub it in all around her bands to keep from the breakage. You can also use a little bit right in here on her top knot where the bands sit. Just keep everything nice and healthy and growing strong. So that's my first poodle tip for you. Trim everything down nice and short. On Shih Tzus and drop-coated breeds, losses, a really good trick is to lift them up and maybe give them an underbelly shave and take out all the armpit hair and stuff like that and the groin where they mat. And just leave the top coat nice and fresh and long, and don't be afraid to trim that up a little bit so it's not dragging on the grass and causing damage while you're waiting for the shows to start again. Okay, so that's our poodle trick and tip today. Leonardo's going to talk to you a little bit about maintaining the terriers.
Well, there are some breeds that they don't require too much of a maintenance. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depends who's talking. Terriers, they're very demanding in the conditioning that you do. The coats, if you don't work it every week or twice a week, the coat starts to getting softer and longer. And then when you try to pull it again, the texture is all gone. Or if you don't bathe it often, this hair is like so delicate that breaks so easy. So we try to when we're in the show competition, normally every week, we pull the coat twice a week to keep it in good shape, and same as the legs, once a week. Right now, just to maintain it, you can go even 10 days, pushing 2 weeks, like not touching it, just keeping the hair rolling. But you have to keep bathing it twice a week or 3 times a week just to keep a nice, healthy hair. Shampoo conditioner is fine. Shampoo conditioner is fine for the legs and face. Coat, brushing pretty much every day or every other day. And after that, I mean, there is not much that you cannot do to keep your dog in condition to get him ready for when the shows get back. So for the, I think that in terriers you have just basically working like if you're in competition every weekend. Otherwise, your coat is just gonna start to getting softer and longer, and the shape gonna just disappear. So same thing as the Jody was talking about the poodles. You can use this kind of a conditioner after bathing. Just a little pump in your hand. He had a pre-bathe already, so you just put it in the tips. Then when a leaf comes, all around. The other reason that you bathe them often, plus keeping the hair healthy and not breaking, you don't want to cover it. So your hair can start getting the stain and stuff like that. So that's why you have to keep it clean, more in a white dog. As I said, there's many breeds that they get you get spoiled and you don't have to work with them like too often. Just keep them clean. But terriers, they're very demanding in the job. So after that, you just, if anybody has a paintbrush, after that you just brush it softer, not pulling the hair, not breaking it.
We're a little close here. So a couple things here. He's been very excited running outside, so a couple things that I want to show as an example, and is, again, we did the same thing on this guy. He's not going to be shown for, obviously, at least 6 or 8 weeks from now. So we've gone ahead and we trimmed out any of that long kind of hair that has split ends, because we want to maintain the healthiest possible hair and keep that hair conditioned. This way, by the time the shows come back, this coat will be longer and stronger and have a better support system than broken, jagged hair getting just, full of pee and the dirt and the mud running in the yard, because at the end of the day, they're all our pets. So, and a couple tips and tricks, like with learning and watching these videos, for example, I've learned, I took my dog's neck too low. This is a prime example. Fix your mistake. People make mistakes, it's going to grow in. Take this time over the next months to learn that and grow these spots in. Another really important thing is when you're grooming, if you can get a mirror in your grooming room, back with me and see this. It's a really good deal to always have a mirror so you can stand back and see what you've got going. Obviously this guy, he just had a bath. He's not trimmed up properly. But by looking in the mirror, you can tell where you have to fix your dog's coat. So I know looking at this that I need to get the hair off of his shoulders, and I can see what I'm doing and see what the judge is doing. One thing not to do that I did today is I wore black, which if I'm trying to groom my black dog, I can't see my dog in the mirror. So if you're grooming your black dog, you want to wear a lighter colored sweater if you're going to be watching it in the mirror to see what you're doing. The same thing with grooming dogs on the tables. If you have a black table and you have a black dog, it's really hard to get a good eye for that trim. I recommend getting something like a bath mat. I have a light colored bath mat on this table. It keeps the dogs from slipping, and when I put the black dog on this, I can actually see what I am doing and what I'm working with. So that hurts that. Now Steph is going to talk to us a little bit about maintaining double-coated dogs while we're all working.
In the meantime, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments, and we will get to those as we go.
So with any double-coated dogs, I'm going to use a Pomeranian here, but if you have a Sheltie, a Collie, even a heavier coated, double-coated breed like an Aussie, it's important that you're maintaining this coat on a weekly basis. You can cut the hair back a little bit, but the biggest thing that's going to be important is keeping up on your weekly baths and line brushing as well. So the 3 things that you're going to need for this, you're going to want your slicker brush, a pin brush, and then a comb to finish through. And this is going to be the same technique on any of your double-coated breeds. You're always going to want to get all the way down to the skin and work your brush on those layers. And you're not pulling out a lot of coat, right? I'm not ripping through it. I'm just being very gentle, brushing this top layer of hair. And you only want to do this on a clean coated dog. So this is a dog that has just had a bath. I would not be brushing this on dirty hair. So after you go through with a pin brush, you can very, very gently also go through with a slicker brush if you have some areas that are a little bit more tangled, or if you have puppy coat, or you have a little bit softer coat that the pin brush isn't getting through. And then you can also take a comb, and this is one of my favorite combs. It's a real fine-tooth comb from New Edge. And you can, again, you're very gently working through the layers as you line brush this. Now, I am getting out some dead coat, but I'm not pulling out any of that good hair, right? The purpose of brushing is to get out the dead coat, because we're not gonna get new hair growing in unless that dead coat is removed. All right, so this is something that you can do while you're watching TV, while you're on your Netflix binge. Put your dog on your lap and just line brush through them weekly. If you use a stand dryer or a hair dryer and you dry your dog, it's the same process while we're drying as we're line brushing through the coat. Okay? All right.
Are we all set for the favorite things? We just did a little bit location change, so when we come back for the end of our live video, we'll be in our office. Much easier to hear, I hope.
So, next we're gonna go to, we're gonna do our favorite things real quick.
So we wanted to point out a lot of our favorite things that, Steph and I show so many different breeds every week and maintain so many different breeds that these are a lot of the tools and products that I love and Steph loves. So, starting with, we'll start with shampoos and conditioners. One of my favorite all-around shampoo and conditioners, I haven't found a breed that I don't love it on yet, is the Barker. The Barker, this is the conditioner. They have shampoo and conditioner. It dilutes very high. You need very little to be effective in grooming your dog. Love it on the Springers, the Poodles, the short-coated dogs are very shiny. Another product I love for white dogs is this Toro line. It's actually a foreign company from Lithuania, made in Italy, but it's called White Coat. This is their conditioner. They also have a shampoo. And then a medicated shampoo that works so good if you have a dog that is itchy skinned, even allergy skins, or uncomfortable. I really like T-Gel. It's made by Neutrogena. You can also buy it in generic forms at any of the shows. The shops. Right. Steph, you want to do that for me?
Sure. Yep. So we touched on a few of the pieces of equipment while we were doing some of our grooming. But when it comes to equipment, you need to obviously pick a tool that works well for you. There are some brushes that are going to be heavier, some combs that are heavier. They all have different widths to the teeth or firmness to the brush. So you're going to have to choose one that works for you and your particular breed. But a lot of the products that we have found for multiple breeds that we really, really like, this is a #1 All Systems. This is a wide tooth comb, so this is like a really good poodle comb for the wide teeth. There's a couple different finer tooth combs.
I love this for stripping undercoat out of dogs like Springers and stuff. This fine end, instead of using a knife always, it's going to cut the hair. You can lay it flat and pull it through the coat, and it pulls out just the undercoat without damaging the good hair.
This is another really awesome comb. This is actually my favorite kind of ringside comb here, and they do make them with the wider teeth and the narrower teeth. And then, like I talked about earlier, the new edge comb with the really fine teeth. I use this to finish through all my line brushing on Pomeranians, love it for poodles, and even combing through their coat also.
So then we have a couple of the conditioners that we love. We've already discussed the Artero Protein Conditioner. They also have a keratin. I feel the keratin is a little bit heavier. The protein is great. This Bellis Satin Cream is awesome for dogs that have like damage around their bands and their top knots, like Shih Tzus, Poodles. It's a really great product as well. It helps maintain the breakage. One of my favorites, faculty member Sarah Perchik, introduced me to this, and I don't know if you guys have seen Sarah's poodles, but they have more hair than anyone's poodles that you'll ever see. She is a god when it comes to that, but she recommended this, especially after washing up the spray at a show or their maintenance bath, because it really protects the ends of the coats when you're blow drying the dog. So you put it on when they're wet, and then you can blow dry the dog without breaking the ends of the hair. If you did not brush out your dog, Artero makes a great product called Mat X, and this product is a great conditioner. So while you are dematting your dogs, you can use this as you separate the mats and brush through them to cause less damage. So then we have another good one for brushing out Shih Tzus and breeds like that is this argan oil. You have to give it a good shake every time because the oil in the cream does separate, but it's fantastic for double-coated breeds. A little bit heavy to use at the dog show if you have a silky-coated dog. It will make it greasy. We really like protein, so we have a choice. This Pro Ear Cleaner is one of my favorites. It's by Top Performance. It's very economical. We clean every dog's ears every week. It's super important. This isn't too greasy. Does a great job just keeping them clean. Gold Bond Baby Powder with cornstarch is great if you have a dog that is getting a little bit of itchy spots or yeasty spots. It's a good product just to sprinkle on and keep dry. Our Shih Tzu people, anything with bands or wraps, these letter openers, you can buy them really cheap, pretty much anywhere, office supplies. They're great for just pulling up the elastic and cutting off the band without cutting the hair. One of my favorite maintenance products for any dog that has white staining is the Stainless Look by Toro. It's called a Clay Shield, and you just put it in the areas in their eyes where their tear lines come, and it's red. It kind of makes a paste that hardens. It's very safe for their eyes. It's been tested like crazy. We use it on multiple breeds. It's really good Maltese, Bichons, Shih Tzus. Even the little Pomeranian will use it on where he's getting red, and we've seen a huge improvement since starting this product on him. Two more of my products, Shine Spray. This is more at the dog show, just a finishing Shine Spray. I love this generic Biolage from Sally's. Again, just a few dollars a bottle. And instead of mousse, this is my favorite, is what I use. And instead of mousse, I spray this on, and it's a little less damaging, I find, than the mousse, and it makes the hair stay up nice and full. So Steph, can you explain, use these on the whiskers and stuff, or like a great dog show tool?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a horse whisker trimmer. So you can find this at like a farm store, or a lot of the vendors carry them. And it's pretty safe. The blade is protected by these little teeth here. You still can cut the dog, so you need to be careful. But basically all you do is you run this along the muzzle, and this is really good for dogs that like to tuck their whiskers against their face. And if you have a hard time using your scissors because they like to hide those whiskers, if you run this across the way that the whiskers lay, this will help trim them, and it doesn't cut the hair on their face. So it's better than using like clippers on, say, like an Aussie or some of those other breeds, and it's really good for those pesky whiskers that they like to tuck against their face.
And then one more little thing I missed is these little clips. You know, they're awesome for multiple things. I like to use them to pin the springer's ears up over their noses so you can trim their neck without having their long ears dangling. Same if you're blow drying your Cavalier and want to have that out of the way, or if you're banding a really heavy coated poodle, you can clip back some of the hair while you're keeping it banded. Or if you're drying your dog, it's getting in the dryer, you can fix yourself at the same time.
All right, my favorite products, and I'm a little biased because I make these, are my Vitathane grooming nooses and leashes. I'm online, JP Leash, but they're great because they are super durable. These are awesome for giving baths because they don't leach color or anything like that on the dogs. You can get them wet. They last forever. So,
especially the nooses, a lot of our breeds that have so much coat, if you put them on them after their bath and their neck is wet and you're blow drying them, they don't stay wet. They dry very quickly, so you're not going to maintain having a wet line around your dog's throat after the bath. We use these in the grooming shop too. Like they're awesome. Awesome. And they're nice and tight, so they can slide and the dog can't just easily slip off or, you know, get loose and jump off the table or anything like that. And again, like we always say, just to throw it out there, that you never leave your dog unattended on the table on a noose.
right.
That's it.
JP Leash, that's where you find them. So,
I think we touched on most of our favorite products today.
and we will add a picture of this cart and explanations to the bottom of the live video once we're done. I saw some questions on some of the products, and we will get to those after this is over. But stay tuned for that.
So now we're going to plan on moving on over to the training facility in our resort, and we're going to do some talk about having the judge's examination during social distancing. Heather is going to give everybody some good tips and tricks regarding the best things to train your dog while you're home away, so they're prepared for coming back in this situation. So here we have Heather, and we have Angie, and we have our owner handler, Lori Green, with their little dogs. So I'm going to let Heather take over now.
All right, hi everybody. So we're going to start out with a little sneak peek at some of our handling tips and tricks. So I've got Lori, who's a very successful owner handler, and her dog. We're going to talk about how to get through the judge's examination. So the first thing you want to consider is that when the judge approaches, they're looking at the dog in profile. So you want to present a nice overall silhouette and highlight your dog's strengths. So we're going to next move to the front. So the judge is going to be looking at the dog's expression, the headpiece, as well as the front end assembly. So as a handler, you have a few jobs here. Number one, you need to stay out of the judge's way. So Miss Lori is standing back and presenting her dog in a breed-specific manner. So each breed's going to be a little bit different. With a setter or a springer or a spaniel, we need to have soft ears, soft eyes, soft lips. Other breeds may need to be more alert as the judge approaches. judge and distracting them. Next, we're going to do the oral examination. So I'm going to put my mask on as I approach closer to 6 feet. So we need to get our dogs used to masks and gloves, and we're going to talk about how to do that in a moment. So I'm going to talk loud. You might need to stick close by. So as I approach here, we have, we're going to show the bite. So for this breed, you show the bite. That was perfect. Thank you, Lori. So she's gently cupping the dog's lower jaw with her right hand. And I often do exactly what she did, which is keeping a hold on that collar by kind of sticking my thumb through it. And then she's gently lifting with the upper left hand to frame those incisors. Now your breed might call for the teeth. You step back. So they might call for the teeth, which means you need to show each side. So you want to have your dog trained so that they're used to having their mouth handled. And if you're a nice handler and you want to make it easy on the judge, which is always a good idea, you can kind of tilt the dog's head up as Lori did. And you can even turn the dog's head to either side as you're showing the side teeth there. So the judge doesn't have to stand on their head to see your dog's mouth. And then lastly, some breeds need their mouth opened. So we want to practice that in advance. I'm not going to have Lori do that because her dog does not have that as part of its exam. So I'm going to put my mask back on and approach. The next job the handler has, as the judge goes over their dog, is to support your dog. So as we do our structural exam, the judge is going to lay hands on the dog. And she's got her breed-specific presentation here where she moves the ear out of the way. But whatever breed you have, you want to make sure you have a firm hold on the head of your dog so that they know that you are in control, you're in charge, you're there to support them in a firm and calm manner. So the last look is important as well. So the judge is going to step back and we have one more chance to show our dog in profile, in silhouette, one last time and make a very good memory for that judge as they move on to examining. That's beautiful. So that is perfect. Thank you so much, Lori. All right, so we're going to have Miss Angie here with our little poodle friend to talk about getting our dogs used to mask and gloves. So this is a puppy. This is a great time to start. If you have a young dog at home, that is wonderful. Young dogs are very plastic and open to new experiences, especially our puppies that are in the first 3 months of their life. They are still in the socialization window, which means that you don't even have to work nearly as hard to introduce new things to them as if you would with an older puppy. So with a 6-month-old puppy, we're going to introduce things in a way that's a little bit more like you would with an adult dog. It's called desensitization and counter conditioning. So with any new thing, we're going to pair it with happy, positive things. So we have bait that we can use to reward them as we introduce people with masks on. You can wear your mask at home since you can't have visitors over, and make sure that you get them used to the scent of hand sanitizer. So put that on every once in a while. I know it's valuable stuff right now. Get your dog used to that scent. She says it tastes delicious. It's not good for you. So we're going to get them used to these things. Gloves are another good idea. So these are the changes that we're going to have to get our dogs used to. I'm going to step back from you now, Miss Angie. You can come down and have a break if you need it. So another great thread that we saw, we're seeing all sorts of really great topics of discussion in our So You Want to Show Dogs group. And one of them brought up, should you train your dog to stand 6 feet away from you and hold their stack through the judge's examination? And I think that's a great thing to discuss. We've seen, there have been many great dogs and handler teams that have been highly trained so that you can stand away from them when the judge is going over them on their individual exam. And that can work if you have the dog with the right temperament, you put in the training, you put in the time, because that is not an easy thing to teach your dog. So you can certainly work on that, but I want everybody to think, and this is what a lot of people were talking about in that discussion, in that thread, is is it appropriate for my dog or my breed? So for instance, Angie, we're not going to see you doing that with your little toy dogs on the table, are we? Because that's not a safe thing to do with our toy breeds, to stand 6 feet away from them in case they were to get spooked and jump off and break a leg. It's also not an appropriate thing to do for some of my more independent or guardian or protector-minded dogs, because we want to be close by so that we can support them through that process, and that's going to make the judge feel more confident and secure as well as your dog for you to be close by. It's definitely great things to think about, so just use your common sense as you approach that. Now, socialization, I know that we talked about socializing to these things, but we've got a whole great video on different show dog specific socialization type things to do. So this little puppy here, she's 6 months old. This is her first time on ring mats, I think.
Yes.
So Miss Angie is making this a positive, fun experience for her. I know that Jody said that you can pick up some material just like this at Lowe's along with duct tape. Put that on your sidewalk or whatever and get your puppy used to just kind of playing, free baiting, and standing and stacking on this kind of material at home. So I think those are all of our tips and tricks for our training for today. So we'll go ahead and move on back up. Oh, we have our other puppy here. We just talked about that.
So we'll start over here. Steph and I are going to take over this portion with this cute little guy, Colt. All right, so a few things. We talked about the mats. Again, if you just go to Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards, they sell this matting. It's relatively inexpensive. You don't need a long piece. Just, if you have a toy dog 5 feet, a bigger dog 10 feet, put some duct tape across it and just get them used to walking over that duct tape.
Especially for little dogs, the light reflects off of the tape differently. So even if they're used to walking on the cement or the grass, or you get them used to walking on the mats, when they see the tape, it's just a whole new different thing for them, and they like to jump over it or hop over it. So in your driveway, in your garage, in your backyard, just lay down some mats, even a section like this big with some pieces of tape across it, and just walk them across it for some practice.
And then we want to address some obstacles that will happen at the shows that you may not see every day at home. Like example, a metal chair. So at the dog shows, there's metal chairs all inside the ring. People like to sit back and drag them. Just get a metal chair and have a friend or a neighbor or your spouse make the noise of dragging a metal chair. He's a little apprehensive of it. Come on, let's go. Of everything. Come on, let's go. This is my first time. And just walk them towards it if they're unsure and they don't like the noise. Boy. Keep on encouraging them that that noise is okay and just something to get used to in the back of their minds. It's something that they hear normally. Another good point is noise. Steph and I were talking, you can get noise bits of clapping really loud and just play that loud from your phone, from a computer. You can record yourself clapping on an old cassette player and play that, so that's another noise that they'll get used to.
And one of the things that we'll do in our puppy rooms from the time the puppies can hear is play a TV or a radio really, really loudly. So that way they're used to having noises and different voices and songs and the emergency alert system and all those different things in the background. And that will really help too by the time you get them out of the house to get them used to some of those different voices and the different sounds.
And then I know we're still social distancing, but a couple things, a lot of the states have been opening up so there can be small gatherings. We're very lucky here in Indiana, so we're starting our classes next week and we're sticking to 7 or 8 people in a class with one instructor. We have a big area that everyone can keep their space and everyone's going to wear masks and we have that under control. The masks are very good because we're gonna have to get used to showing our dogs like that for a little while. They're gonna have to get used to judges doing that. So if you live alone or if you have someone in the household, it's good to find a neighbor or a friend to come, and Tristan's gonna help us describe this, and just have someone approach your puppy with a mask and some hand sanitizer. So she'll have a mask, and she's gonna get her hands with that alcohol-y smell that could be a little bit upsetting to a dog. And just have your neighbors come and pet them and give them a cookie with that mask. And just talk and let them have their space and get used to it. If they're unsure, just keep trying. Don't force them to do it, but you want to make it a really good experience and have them used to just some strange person coming in their face on a day-to-day basis. Even if you go to like a PetSmart or something like that, and there's someone that you see in the store with a mask, everyone at that store is there for the same reason, because they're pet lovers. Ask a stranger to pet your dog. And just have them used to someone they don't know. Colt just met Tristan, so this is a good experience. So do you have any more tips or ideas for things?
Yeah, the other thing that I like to do with my puppies, I will take them, if your grooming room isn't attached to like your puppy room, I'll take my puppies in a crate into the grooming room, obviously once they've been vaccinated, but that way they're listening to the dryers, they're listening to the other dogs bark. Make sure that you can still get them used to riding in the car, right? Because we're not traveling every weekend, and a lot of times we take our puppies with us when we travel or in our motorhomes. So even just start getting them used to riding in your car.
Drive around the block.
Exactly.
Sunday drive.
You don't even have to go visit a store. But you don't want your dog to get motion sickness or not be used to riding in the car right now. So
And you can take them and just walk them in the park.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of parks are still available, and you want to avoid people just by getting them off of your property into a moving vehicle and into a new location, whether it's outdoors, indoors. Just take advantage of everything that you can think of
On
that
the
you're
dog
comfortable
college,
with. Yeah.
on the dog college, we also have an excellent free video that prepares your dog before getting groomed. If you send him to a groomer, or even some of the tips are great if you are grooming your dog yourself, just to get them used to vibration, the process, anything like that before you take actual clippers or a dermal to their toenails, stuff like that. So that's on the dog college for free.
And Heather will also have a socialization video that's already posted.
Yes, Heather has a puppy
It's a 1 hour puppy socialization, and there's different practices that breeders have sworn for over the years.
Yes.
I think we are ready to move on to our owner owners part of
Yes.
this. We made a couple adjustments. We moved out of the lobby into my office, and hopefully everyone can hear us a little bit better.
All right, so we are going to head back to the office. Hopefully the sound's a little bit better in there for everyone.
He's walking.
We have a special guest speaker. We have a special guest speaker joining us that will be answering some questions. And if you guys have any questions come to mind, please feel free to put them in the comments. We will be getting to those ASAP.
Okay, so everyone knows which questions are there. Sorry, so we have brought in a special guest speaker. Lori has been an owner handler for how many years?
She's at least 20
Started
years.
in the 70s.
What?
I thought you started in the 70s.
I did start
It's
showing
2020.
dogs in the 70s.
Lori has been involved. We're not going to bring up age, but for a very, very long time in this sport.
Yes, I have.
And she's had her ups and her downs. So we all have some questions for Lori as an owner handler, a
Yes.
successful owner handler.
So I'm going to start out, and we all have our questions already, but please put your questions in the comments, and we will get to them. So Lori, what was your most memorable win?
Well, I have to tell you, I've had two. One back in 2010, I showed my homebred bitch that had puppies that were 6 months old to best of opposite sex at the English Springer Spaniel National out in Portland. that was a thrill for me, being an owner handle, and because I bred her. My next win, or a win that is most memorable to me, is one that just recently happened, which was at Royal Canin in December, in a huge entry of English Springer Spaniels. I won the breed on my young dog that, again, I had bred. And I think those are the two that stand out to me right now. Okay?
So as an owner handler, and all of us have had some moment that's been embarrassing, what is your funniest, most embarrassing moment you've had in the ring?
Well, one that comes to mind is, again, at the 2010 National out in Portland. I had a 6-month-old puppy that I had trained so well, and he was just absolutely adorable, ran around the ring with me at home all the time. He got there and he slipped his lead, and yes, he did run around the ring, but I wasn't at the end of the lead, and he kept going and going, and finally he came back to me, but everyone clapped, and so he thought that was very, very funny, and I was like, oh no. But that's probably the funniest one that I remember.
So I have a question about how do you feel how the AKC Owner Handler Series has affected the sport and your participation in the sport?
Well, for me, it has been a godsend, because I don't, at my young age, show my dogs as much as I used to. And the Owner Handle series puts me in competition with my friends and other owner handle breeders, and I have been pretty successful. I've won many best in shows, owner handled. I've placed in the group a lot of times, and it gives me an opportunity to show off the dogs that I own, co-own, and have bred.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my question is around tips for a new person joining the sport. How do you go about finding a mentor, or can you talk about your experience with finding a mentor as well?
Okay, my experience in finding a mentor was that I was fortunate enough to purchase, going into this, buying a Springer. I knew I wanted a show dog, and living in an area, I happened to call a handler who told me, you need to call these 3 people. And the first person I called did have puppies, and she became a very large part of my life when I first started in Springers. And so therefore, she was a very good mentor. I went on to have friends that were good mentors, because I could pick their brains about things that they did that I didn't do, and why did you do it. So mentoring, and then going back and talking. You always want to go back and talk about your breed, talk about your breeding programs. The problem is some people that buy show dogs don't have the opportunity to have a mentor. And in that respect, I would go to the show and look at people that are approachable in your breed. Ask them questions. See if you can have a conversation and or a relationship with them. And use them, and they can use you as years go on. And it makes for wonderful benefits of the breed. Okay?
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think even finding mentors outside of your breed can be a great solution for people who don't have a lot of people locally. So
Yes.
my question is, what else are you involved in? 'Cause I heard you do a little bit of like performance stuff here and
I
there.
do. With my Springers, I have always felt that they needed to be occupied. So I have done agility with almost, in fact, all of my Springers have some kind of agility training. Some more than others. If I feel that they're competitive, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go with you, and I do agility. I do obedience. I do rally, and in fact, Debbie Peck, if you're watching, you still owe me the $1 million, because I did finish my rally trial before you did, okay? The best thing that I've been involved with is Agility Angels in Toledo, Ohio. It was an organization that took autistic kids, paired them with agility dogs, and these kids got an opportunity to create a bond with the dog and then use them in agility courses. And it is a flourishing program, and right now I don't have a dog ready for Agility Angels because they have to be pretty well trained, and I'm not there yet with any of mine, but a wonderful organization. And I encourage anyone with any breed, get involved in some other activity other than your conformation, because it really gives you a really great bond with your dog.
Lori, we had a good question come through on here. What would the first step be for someone who is wanting to learn as much as possible?
Wow, as much as possible. Talk to people. Talk to people in your own breed. Talk to people that get recommendations from other people. Talk to them. If you're wanting to show a dog, go to conformation classes, get your dog exposed and you exposed to what goes on in a ring and everything else. So those are the kinds of things I would definitely encourage anyone to start out with.
Awesome. Got another one here. How should a newbie get started in conformation?
I would definitely go to some kinds of handling classes if you do have handling classes in your area. There are some areas that truly don't have handling classes that you can do, and I would see if you could find someone that has shows in conformation in your area that could help you.
You think the online courses are helpful?
The online courses are definitely helpful because you're in an age of people that go to videos to learn how to do things. This is the age of videos and trying to learn through a video. So I would really recommend, if you don't have someone you can get in touch with, go online at
Especially,
video.
a lot of people live in remote areas where they don't have access to the breed clubs and the handling classes, and with the social distancing right now and not having gatherings of more than 8 or 10, like I said, in our state, we're lucky that we can have gatherings of this size. We're in a very healthy area, we all work together, but by doing videos, you're not putting yourself out there, and it's very expensive if you're trying to find something that's far away, if you have to travel somewhere or drive a long distance or get a hotel.
And with your videos, you are out there saying, hey, if you have a problem, if you want us to critique or something like that, that's very important, because you're starting out new and you look at a video and you try and mimic what the video says, but you're not really sure. This college, this information group allows you to go back to the author of the video and go, okay, so I did a video, this is what I'm seeing, help me. Right or wrong, it helps.
I would like to add a piece of advice on that question also. If you don't yet have a puppy for conformation, go to shows. Go study. Go watch. Go ask questions. There are so many people that would love to help,
and the more questions you ask, like sometimes, I think there's a lot of breeders that are gun shy sometimes with giving a new person a dog. I always try to encourage breeders to give people that chance, but the more questions you ask them and the more information about yourself that you give them, the more I feel a breeder will work towards helping you.
and learn as much about the breed that you're interested in as you can before you bite the bullet and get a puppy. And the more you know about the breed going to the breeder, the more they're going to be receptive to you as well. I have another question on here. Where did it go? Is there a beginner conformation class on the dog college?
Yes,
Yes,
Heather has
is.
a whole series on the dog college for the beginner classes.
Yep, we have a complete bundle now that includes the stacking like a pro, so that's hand stacking, free baiting for the win, which is the whole shebang on how to create an awesome free baiting dog. And then the newest one is mastering movement. So, basics on movement, but also troubleshooting movement, like sidewinding, crabbing, and pacing, and really setting yourself up for success. So that's all bundled in together on the Complete Beginner's Guide.
And I think too, a lot of the faculty members, now that the shows are getting extended later and there's more cancellations, you know, every breed, like once you learn your basics with the beginner's course, many of these breeds have specific personalities. For example, you know, toy dogs have one kind of mentality where a sighthound has a different kind of mentality versus like a gangbuster sporting dog. So many of the faculty members are also going to be doing some breed specific training classes and, you know, tips. So, you know, dogs have type, you know, handlers have type with the different breeds that they're showing, how to best represent their mentalities. I know Steph's going to be working on some of the toy breeds for us. You know, Heather has a lot of working dogs and stuff and herding dogs that she's going to help with. Graham Swayze's going to be coming up with a whole sighthound series on how to handle your sighthound. You know, it's all different breeds that have a very specific personality. You know, it's why we all like our different breeds for different reasons as well.
Yes. We had a question on the best way to find confirmation shows also. And I think we could all agree that Canine Chronicle has an excellent calendar on their website.
It does.
When we're back to showing dogs,
yeah.
yes, they're
The Canine Chronicle is, and they've been doing live videos with different breeders and stuff and handlers and people every week, so there's lots to learn week to week on their shows from different people throughout the sport. And contact your local breed clubs.
Yes.
They can even let you know in your state and area when their classes are going to start again, or if there is private lessons, you know, keeping small gatherings.
That's a great way to meet people and get involved is through those breed clubs. Yeah.
Make new friends in the sport.
We have a question here on how to access the dog college, and if you can go on over to our Facebook page once this is all over, there are tons of links on our Facebook page to get to the website, and that's where you'll find all the courses.
All
and
dash dogs dash college dash
information.
teachable.com.
Yes, something like
Our platform has you put dashes in between the names, but it's, you know, it's been a great platform and it's fairly easy to navigate. We've tried to set it up as best we can, dividing everything up in groups or training versus grooming versus pet grooming. We have stuff coming up for all sides.
Yes. So we will post a link on the bottom of this video as well. But yeah, more questions? I'm not seeing any more questions that have come through yet. So I think
We are good.
Thank
Wrap
you.
it up.
Thank
It's
you.
been fun.
Okay.
Lori Greener, our owner handler extraordinaire. I'm Jody Garcini, founder
Thank you
owner of
for
the Dog
including me.
College.
Tristan Lawrence, marketing and events for the Dog College and the Dog House. Stephanie Henschel, a faculty member of All Things Dogs College.
Angie Cook, manager of Spa for Dogs, and another faculty member.
And I'm Heather Blakeman. I'm a faculty member here as well.
Lastly, huge thank you to the Canine Chronicle for
Thank
hosting
you.
this event and
It's
helping
been
us.
fun. We love to encourage new people.
Absolutely. So please join us at All Things Dogs
Oh,
College.
and this is Colt. Colt stayed for the remainder. If Colt went away for the remainder of the video, we would have heard from Colt. So he got to join us, and it's been our fun.
Stay tuned for the fashion show.
And that'll